Hello and welcome to Suzuka International Racing Course, where today we are going to be hosting round number 3 of the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Series presented by RaceVoice. I cannot wait to get started after 2 rounds down under. We've had some brilliant action so far, and I expect nothing less today. My name is Dean Baird, and alongside me as always is Jim Hodgson with Marco Barbanera on production. And Jim, like I just mentioned, 2 rounds down under, now we're here in Japan. 2 great first rounds, and what are you expecting today?
Well, a very different track this week than last week for sure. Very different than Mount Panorama is Suzuka. Pretty wide open. We will be seeing, we'll be definitely seeing the top of what these cars can do in terms of top speed, even though the Spec Racer Ford is not perhaps the first car you would reach for in terms of top speed. But, Suzuka's got some nice long straights, but also some very challenging turns and your blind crests. And, it's just a beautiful, iconic circuit. Can't wait to get started.
Absolutely. Now, because of the tricky nature of getting 60 odd cars around the circuit for qualifying, the qualifying was hosted in a separate session with around 30 cars in each, and the top 60 made it through to the main grid. So qualifying wasn't just now, it was around about 20 to 25 minutes ago, and they managed to get almost a full 60 car grid here today. So Gorka Itaret starts on pole position alongside his teammate Rafael Berbagal, Iro Nom in third with Maurizio Naselli in fourth, then Austin Winner, Dan Sadjo, Stephen Beardsley, Florence Arabian, Larry McLeod, and David Bone in the top 10. The rest of the field is going to go onto the overlay in just a moment as we wait for the pace car to carry on moving, and we are just before 130R, I believe, as the field just about now gets underway. Quickly though, RaceVoice is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Weekend Warrior Spec Racer Ford Racing Series. Take your driving to the next level with on-track audible performance alerts with RaceVoice and RaceVoiceSIM, in miles per hour, turn entry and exit speeds, upshift alerts, and other performance metrics which are selected and configured by you. Go faster with the speed of voice. Plus, Weekend Warriors get 50% off annual sim pricing using the promo code of WW50. Check them out at www.racevoice.com. And just in time as they make their way through the Casio Triangle for the first time today, pace car will pull off to the left-hand side very shortly. And the field is now under Gorka Itaret's control, and he floors it. And we go green. 40 minutes of racing here at Suzuka. And he covers off quickly. Rafael Berbagal behind. Lights go out, and you can see just about 60 cars in the distance as they make their way down in towards turn 1 for the first time. Gorka holds off Berbagal very well indeed. Berbagal not having any chance of making a move at all. Pretty much single file for the first few rows of cars, but side by side further back as they will make their way through the S's for the first time now. Then is Berbagal going to try and make moves on his teammate in front, or are they going to stay 1 and 2? Are there going to be any team orders? As Berbagal looks to the inside there a little bit as all of the cars snake through the S's down towards the Degnan as they come now for the first time, but a pretty clean start.
Yeah, absolutely. Berbagal certainly not making it easy for Itaret, definitely keeping him honest as they navigate that section you mentioned there. Yeah, you would think that they would want to stay together, Dane, wouldn't you? Just so that they could at least get 1 or 2 trips down these long straights with, to know that they could have 2 cars nose to tail and try to get away from Nam. They've got the smallest gap there as they go through the hairpin, although Nam has closed it up now, so forget I said anything. But yeah, you would think that they would want to work together. Oh, there's cars around in the rear there. It looked like maybe Weatherly and then 205 machine.
Oh dear, yes, and that's caused a car park. The 793 getting a bit of a punt in the rear as drivers come through, not expecting cars in their way. Quite a few cars being caught up well after that initial incident happened. Weatherly now getting right out of the way. Is that Weatherly? Yeah, I think it was.
It's Kresge. Miro Kresge.
Weatherly is, he's in the non-4 car, running in 25th. He managed to get through that, just like without too much of an incident there. That's bunched up the field in the back quite a bit, but crucially, there's a rather large gap now between the lead pack and all the people that were caught up in that incident just a few moments ago.
Yeah, I mean, wow, Burbigal and Idret taking very different lines here through that Casio section of the track. That last sort of, you'll forgive me, I think of it as the bus stop, but this isn't Spa, is it? It's Suzuka. But yeah, Nam able to hang on. Good little group there of leaders that look like Sadro. Where's he? P6 currently. And Burbigal pulls out to try to make a pass on Idret here down the front straight, gets it done.
Yeah, Gorga did not have a good run out of the triangle, ran really deep, and that really compromised the second apex of that. Iro Nom opting not to make a move on Gorga Idret. I think he could if he had opted for it. I think he was close enough to make a lunge down the inside, but he chose not to. But Burbigal takes the race lead away from Gorga Idret, our reigning champion, of course, wearing the number 1 on his car. But he has now got his teammate ahead of him, and Iro Nom very close behind. Iro Nom, a 2-time champion in this series. And it's worth mentioning, after 2 years away from the series, he's come back, and he is currently leading the Spec 1 standings. I'll quickly go over these. Iro Nom leading Spec 1 at the moment with 192 points, and just behind him is Yancy Lin, then Maurizio Naselli, 25 points back, Antonio Race, Steve Ray, Jason Perry, Chris Murakami, Josh Arnold, and Bobby West, with Dominique Barreau in 10th. Very close, the final of 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th all have 46 or 47 points. As Antonio Race is around, they all managed to avoid him. That could have ended much worse for the drivers that have just found the stricken car in their path. He managed to do a good job to get that car stopped into the hairpin, but yeah, you got all over the grass backwards. That's definitely not where you want your car to be. Definitely not where you want the car in front of you to be.
No, and Race, we know him for a very talented driver. Of course, he's in Spec 1 this series season because of his championship in Spec 2 in the previous series. So we know he knows how to drive this car. So it's possibly got. I mean, look, anybody can get tangled up with this many cars on track, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely a very capable driver behind the wheel, and as is Yanti Lin, of course, just mentioned, he's currently sitting nice and second in Spec 1 standings after some very consistent results at the front of the field, and he's currently down in 16th. And we are riding now on board with Dan Sadro, and he has got Foreign Arabian bump drafting him. We're getting a look at the front of that number 2 machine there, pushing him along. They're trying to catch up to Austin Winner and Maurizio Naselli, and yeah, those front 5 cars. So Arabian opting not to make a move down the inside. Instead, he's just going to push Dan Sadro along, as this front pack spreading out just ever so slightly, but they're still very much within the drafting range. The drafting these cars very powerful, as we've seen very often in this series. And yeah, that train of cars. Oh, there's some smoke there. What has happened there? There's a slow car with 555. That is Paolo Brem, as they go side by side into the S's for the 3rd time. Just about manages to hold off Paul Barbosa in 46. These are fairly close to the rear of the field at the moment. But yeah, massive grid at the moment. 60 cars on the grid today. 68 drivers try to qualify for this event, so that's a really massive grid they've got going on at the moment. But still, side by side, this is Jacobson and Tony Shook. At the moment, they were going side by side with the Degness, but yeah, Shook just about managed to get in front.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a field this big, I think it's just a testament to how much fun the racing is, isn't it? And how well the community's run. It's no secret.
Absolutely, the drivers keep coming back for more. Many years this series has been running, as you see, a fair in numbers. Oh,
it's Gehan, I think. Yes, or Gehan.
Yes, it is.
Hard to see his car, isn't it?
Yeah, he's running very far down the field at the moment. He is going pretty slowly as well. Something has happened to him, unfortunately. But Burbigal got Gorka Idret right on his tail as they head through the triangle for the 3rd time, and they will come across the line to start lap 4. From what I've been told by the drivers, the pit window, the fuel can last as long as 32 minutes here at Suzuka, so the pit window is going to be anywhere from lap 5 to lap 12. And if drivers can do a little bit of fuel saving by staying in the draft and coasting into corners, they might be able to make it last a lap extra. So we're going to see the early pitters. They're going to be pitting next time by, is what I've been told by the drivers. So we'll have to wait and see who is going to be the early pitting gang out of the 60 cars. So there's plenty of room in that 7-8 lap window for strategy to well and truly play a big role in this race, as the 23 getting it a bit loose. That's Bixby getting a bit loose in towards turn number 1, running a bit wide. Shook trying to go around the outside, but he's got Paolo Brem for company now. Paolo Brem trying to send it in towards turn 2, but it's not happening for him. Trying at every opportunity of Paolo Brem to try and get past.
Dicey spot to try to make a move like that, isn't it?
Definitely is, and if he's not careful, he's going to have Giulio Ficcolin just behind him, who's also having to defend a bit from Botenga. As I say that, he's just let him past. And Jacobson as well. Is that a slowdown potentially for Colin? I didn't know that you could get slowdowns at Suzuka. You have to cut quite a bit of the track, but there he's just slowed down and let a couple of cars by, so I see no other reason why someone would be doing that on track.
Well, I'm sure I can find a way to get a slowdown.
Oh, big shot.
Nice looking, and a good look at the rear sway bar there and gearbox.
Yeah, I think that was McLeod pushing Beardsley, and he is now getting pushed through 130R. That's a bit risky. David Bohm getting a look at those eyes on the rear of Larry McLeod's car. There's those freaky eyeballs that are on Larry McLeod's paint. There they are. I would never be able to race behind that car. I think that would put me off way too much. But David Bohm seems not too phased by it. He's staying in that draft.
Should put a little flap back there, like a DRS kind of a flap, so one of the eyes can wink.
That would be very interesting. Have a car winking at you. That would be even worse, I think. As Stefani and Arnold, they are having a bit of a battle now. Stefani he looked like he was going to send it down the inside there, but Yancy Lin and Gary McCreevy are busy battling away in front. It's a good opportunity for Arnold and Stefani to catch up, along with Perry and Ryan Walker. This little train developing here in the middle of the pack. When I say the middle, it's the end of the top third of the pack.
Well, I want to say thanks, Dane, if I may, to Yang Shilin for helping me to pronounce the man's name, Jerry McArivy, he seems to say, or McArivy.
Well, there is actually then right on the back. I think he did get a bit of a shunt from behind. And now they're going 3 wide out of the hairpin. Jason Perry, I think it was, just had to back out a bit. Put themselves back up into single file here, but a big send from, I think it was Stefani. Or was it Stefani? I think it might have been Arnold, actually, who sent it down the inside into the hairpin, made a bit of contact.
Yeah. Drivers have a little bit of trouble getting their cars stopped on their own side of the next car's limits, aren't they? But it is a little bit of a troublesome braking zone there heading into the hairpin, because you make a turn just where you would like to be braking. You're still turning the car, so maybe that's why we're not seeing them get stopped in time. But then again, we just have a lot of cars on track. A lot of people trying to go as fast as they can.
absolutely. Something I'd love to see is the track map at the moment, because the field is spread out considerably. As you can see, the top 20, look at that. That's a
Quite a
lot of
snake.
cars snaking their way through, yeah, all the way from almost turn 1 in the lead pack down to 57th, where someone's just exiting Spoon. 58th, someone's just exiting the hairpin. So yeah, lots of drivers, and lots of drivers going off track as well. And you can see that because their icon turns red. And some drivers heading into the pits, they're going 3 wide on the main straight, I think I just saw. But the 142, yes they are, that's Antonio Race down the inside of Dominique Barrault and Yuri Cox. Dominique Barrault leading just around the outside. Oh, there's a car off in the background. Not too sure who that was. I think that was Tim van Doorleman in the 20, and he's just come out right in front of a massive group of cars there as well. What has happened to van Doorleman? Did he lose that all on his own, or was there contact involved?
Let's see. It looks like he might have just lost the car. Although the replay started with him just turned around in turn 2 there.
Oh, I think
maybe
there
he did
might
get a
have been a
little
bit of contact. Yeah, Jason Perry's car is pretty damaged at the front. Has there been... Oh, there they go then, side by side into turn 1.
Oh, there was another car. There was another car in the middle of the track between 1 and 2. And it looked like Perry... They were battling there into turn 1, and they tried to slow down to keep from hitting that car, and that caused another wreck.
Very similar to what we saw at Oran Park.
Mm-hmm.
With yeah, drivers in front causing a wreck behind, where drivers trying to slow down and drivers behind them getting caught out by it. So yeah, unfortunate for Van Doormelen. The name, the last name there is actually so long that it doesn't fit on the overlay properly. They've had to squish it down a little bit. Yeah, he's still sitting in 31st place, so he's done well to recover from that. As Adam Bradshaw, you can see there, Spec 2 leader. And he's got some company behind of Francesco Bernardo in 28th in that 058 machine. And 058 means he is a Spec 1 driver. The next Spec 2 driver, there he is. The Polish driver there.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's not a good place to rejoin. I think that was Yes, it was. It was Bately.
Yeah, Bately.
And yeah, he's just come straight onto the track. I think it was in front of Bradshaw. And now, the 11 rolls it.
That's Ray.
And oh
That's our
dear.
series organizer.
Oh, and he's almost caught out a couple of other drivers as well there. Yellow flag's helping out a little bit there, but yeah, Stevie Ray. So unfortunate for him, caught massively off guard by the car that was stranded in the pits and hit the barrier at such an angle that it just flipped them around. Oh, around the outside he tries to go and then hits the barrier and around he goes. Luckily he managed to land on his all 4 wheels, otherwise we'd have had to take a tow. He's also lucky that no one else was trying to make it through the pits at the same time, otherwise he might have been sent into space.
Well, back in my day, we would call that a Dukes of Hazzard sort of situation, but I understand you guys are probably a little young for that. So Bradshaw gave the 22 machine a little bit of a tap there, didn't he?
And then the 22 gave him a tap back when he tried to rejoin. And here is Ray trying to go around the outside, and there is an upside down, or on its side, Spec Racer Ford machine. But they do get a fast repair, so he has carried on going. He's lucky that that damage was given to him not too far away from his pit box, because he's not lost too much time from that. He's lost a lot of time, but not as much as he could have. Jason Perry struggling a little bit to try and fend off Mick Carr and Josh Arnold. Those two cars not very damaged at all, but Jason Perry's car's got quite a bit of damage on it. And now we see Piotr in the 921 machine. He is now leading Spec 2. So Spec 1 leader made his way into the pits on the last lap, I would imagine. And he's now leading As we near the halfway point of this race, Rafael Berbigal still leading, but not too far behind his teammate Gorka Tourette, reigning champion, and Iro Nom are your top three, with Maselli and Winner very closely following them. But there's a bit of a gap now between 7th and 8th. Larry McLeod around about 5 seconds behind Florent Arabian. And you can see they're losing not too much time on lap 3, half a second on lap 4, and then just under a second for the last 3 laps. And that's contributed to that 5-second lead that Arabian now has over the next car. More drivers heading into the pits. That's a very damaged car of Murakami in that 01 machine. He's taking his repair and heading into the pits. And we've got a move being made there. Franco overtaking Barbuza. Down to turn 1,
Ooh.
easy as you like. Good move there. Oh no, not a good move.
Yeah. Franco had a little bit of trouble getting the car stopped in order to make turn 2 there, and
Ooh.
Barbuza very nearly got that place back.
He almost sent it down the inside there again.
I think Franco's kind of scared himself and he's overdriving the car a little bit now. We'll see
Very
if
easy
Barbuza's
to
able
do.
to capitalize. Yeah.
As they head over the crest now, down and towards the 2 Dagners. How much curb is Franco going to take? Not too much.
Yeah,
I guess it's not really, not really needed. A lot of curb taken for the 2 though. As they make their way up through towards the hairpin now. They've got Paul Jackson for company. And then there's a bit of a gap behind them to Paolo Brem, who's fighting with Bixby. But you can see on the track map now, a bit more spread out. The leaders are coming up towards lapping the drivers near the end of the field. They're coming through the final corner now, and the drivers at the end of the field coming through turn 1 at the moment, as David Bohm just ahead of Larry McLeod. So Bohm has made his way up a position, and this is a second train that we're seeing develop here. Beardsley now has got Michael De Beck just behind. And there is Yancy Lin moving up a couple places into 14th. Now sits the Chinese driver. Antonio Race has made his way down into pit lane along with Stefani. We're seeing a couple more drivers make their pit stops now as we have just reached the halfway point of the race.
Wow. That was a very ambitious turn in on Bohm's part there, putting a whole lot of tire on the grass, but he managed to keep it afloat somehow, and in fact seems to be making a little bit of a gap on McLeod. There's Fritcher ready to make a move on McLeod. He's not put off by those eyes at all. He's ready to stare right back into him, Dave.
Absolutely. And yeah, only a couple of tenths separating the 2 drivers there. As we make our way all the way down to the middle of the pack. In the 40s we've just reached. There's number 56 machine of Elson. That's Stephen Elson there. Oh, there's a car all the way on the runoff. That's one way of taking turn 1, but you're going to get a penalty for that, my friend. As that's the 664 of Batenga. So what's happened to Batenga that he's decided to take the widest line through turn 1 possible?
Just trying to get his money's worth.
You buy the track, you use all of it.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely did use as much as possible there. Any further out, he might have ended up in the wall. But we're seeing now the end of the top third. At this 20th position, 23rd here for Samuel Dick, just ahead of him, Francesco Bernardo, and then Andrea Bertoni. In the first 3 positions outside the top 20. And they're just minding their own business, not really close enough to make any moves here, but they are close enough to take advantage of each other's draft. And here is McLeod, almost, I think he was looking a little bit, trying to go down the inside of Bowen, but he was also defending from Fritcher behind. But yeah, that train very much developing now. Are we going to see anyone make their way down into the pits? No, we're not. Not from this group of drivers.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Down to the outside. McLeod very quickly making his way to the middle of the circuit. Telling Fritcher, you're going to go around me if you're going to get past. And he has done that.
Yeah.
Oh, they haven't.
Oh, no.
The 9 just about keeps it. Oh, dear. I think that was Debeck and Manny, and unfortunately Beardsley hasn't caught that either. He's lost quite a bit of time. Here are the 3 cars of Arnold, Walker and Perry, and they're getting up close and personal with Manny at the moment. Manny in that 25 numbered car. And yeah, that was Manny, and I think it was Beardsley that made contact into turn 1. So trying to recreate Fritch's move on McLeod, unfortunately, didn't work off quite as clean.
I thought Beardsley was going to be able to drift that thing all the way to turn 3.
So did I, but unfortunately he ended up on the grass and he lost quite a lot of time there for himself.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear, more contact. 3 wide, out of the triangle.
Delivery. Yeah.
I would have expected some of the drivers to make their way down into the pits, but what has happened here?
921. Oh. That's Mizarek. Steve Mizarek. His poor Stevie Ray's gotten caught up in this again. He's almost as unfortunate this race as Gaspers was in the last race. But I think Mizarek just lost the rear of the car there in the Casio. And then tried to turn it into a donut and rejoin the race. And in fact, he made a donut of us all.
Oh, Larry McLeod. I thought for a second he was going to try and make it 3 wide down the pit straight for the... Is it the east or the west circuit? I should know this. I think it's the west circuit. As Fritcher all over the curb there. He's not had a good line through there at all. Larry McLeod makes his way back through, says thank you very much, and he takes 9th position now. We're nearing the pits window for the drivers who are pitting late. Sadjo and Arabian making their way into the pits. Let's see who else does. Bohm and McLeod as well. Fritcher doesn't. He's going to make his way past all of them. And another driver making his way into the pits was Debeck. So yeah, lots of drivers making their way into the pits. There's around about 1 lap, maybe 2 laps left of the pit window. So the driver's going to catch up. And we'll see what the true running order is as we near the end of the race. Only 15 minutes left to go.
Oh.
Good catch.
Manages to get it back, but yeah.
Good catch from Walker, just losing the rear end under the brakes. And yeah, Ryan Walker currently commentating for a bunch of different iRacing broadcasters. Used to commentate here at Apex Racing TV as well. I think he now does quite a bit of work for GSRC as well. So yeah, Ryan Walker, and now driving in his own right in the Spec Racer Forward Series. Seen him a couple of times so far, and he's currently sitting just outside of the top 10. And Botenga, once again, trying to use all of that space out of turn 1, but this time he's gone a bit too far.
I think we're going to see Van Dormelen either attempt or make a move on Botenga here, and I think... I'm not sure what happens. Oh, he's just dipped a wheel. That's Botenga. So Van Dormelen not at fault this time. I just mentioned Van Dormelen because I saw his name move up the timing tower just before we saw that incident happen, so I thought there might have been some correlation there, but as we know, correlation is not causation, is it?
And yeah, it's producer Marco Barbanera laughs in the background. Rafael Barbagal leads the pack. Are they going to head down to the pits? Yes, he is. A lot of tight lines being taken in the top 5. All of them making their way into the pit, except...
Winner.
Oh, no. I thought he came in.
Yeah.
But apparently not. He must have changed his mind at the last second. He's going to try and pull off a strategical masterclass here. I was told by a couple of the drivers they were managing to make it 32 minutes on fuel. Let's see Austin Winner. I saw him head down to the pits. Does he then opt not to? Oh no. Yeah,
I decided not to.
he took a bit of a tighter line than normal, but then just decided not to. Yancy Lin also not making his way into the pits. But everyone else, it seems, has.
Wow.
Look at that. The entirety of the top 20 almost. Making their way into the pits, making their way out of the pits now. And Gorka made his way back past Berbagal.
Quick stop there, huh?
Oh, very close there. But apparently only 4.2 litres are required at the pit stop. That's what Yancy Lin has told me. So we'll have to see if that's going to be enough for him. But at the moment, Winner having not pitted, Lin having not pitted, Gorka Tourette, you would say, not too far off betting on Gorka Tourette leading this race once those two drivers make their pit stops. What we've seen, both of those two drivers, Winner and Lin, make late pit stops and come out a bit further ahead of where they were before. So it's definitely going to be worth watching when those two eventually take their pit stops. I think Lin could potentially last another 2 laps. And he's losing a little bit of time. He might be doing a bit of fuel saving there. As the front 2 drivers here in Itoret and Berbagal making their way up towards some lapped traffic, it seems.
Yeah, you wonder, you know, this could be a very, well, obviously, if Winner and Lin get lucky with Itoret and Berbagal's position on track and the traffic that they have to deal with, it could work out very well for them. I could see, you know, Dane, as you know, when I start doing mathematical computations, I get uneasy and sick, feel physically ill. So I won't try to do that, but this could work out pretty well for those guys.
Yep, definitely. They've gained a little bit of time in the last lap as Winner. There he goes into the pits. Now this will be interesting. Is Yancy Lin also going to make his way into the pits now? Let's see. Yes. So Berbagal and Itoret swapping positions in towards 130R. So that's down the back straight after Spoon. And Berbagal regains the lead of the race. Gorka made a bit of a lunge, almost making contact with his teammate there. Rule number 1 of racing, don't hit your teammate. And Gorka's just about managed to do that. And there is Winner coming out of the pits. He'll come out ahead, but will he be able to hold it? This will be interesting. This will be very interesting. I think Winner's done it.
He might do it.
He pulls out and he's done it.
He covers them up. Wow.
Winner from 5th up into 1st through the pit stop cycle. Yancy Lin, where is he going to come out? And he was in 14th before the pit cycle, I think. And Yancy Lin is... Oh dear. Has he got a penalty? That's a very long pit stop there. Oh dear, oh dear.
You're really dropping down the timing tower there. Winner doing everything he can to hold on to this lead, but Berbagal is all over the rear of his car. He wants that place back bad.
Absolutely. Still 10 minutes to go, of course, and with the draft being very, very powerful in these cars, and with some fairly long straight or flat-out sections here at Suzuka, well, you wouldn't think it's too far away for Berbagal getting ahead of Winner. Is yeah, really, Berbagal's been flying throughout this race. Winner, a great pit strategy that can only do so much when you've got what you would expect to be a faster driver behind you. Oh, Larry McLeod.
McLeod? Yeah.
He's in 13th at the moment, lost a couple places there. He's found himself on the inside of the circuit through the 2 diggers. That's an odd one. Has he caught too much curb and spun himself around as Berbagal moves down to the inside and towards Spoon Curve? Winner holding it around the outside, bit of contact between the two. Oh, Winner gives him a bit of a tap. Gorka taps Winner as well. Winner does the switchback perfectly and retains the lead of the race.
Here comes Nam.
Yeah, and they've slowed each other down enough. The 2 Volcano cars now pushing each other. Gorka, is he also going to make a move? Aero Nom looks to the inside. Berbagal up the inside of Winner. Winner trying to go around the outside through 130R. Side by side still just about. Winner surely will send it up the inside into the triangle. and he's I think it's just about not enough for winner, but he's now going to have the draft down the main straight. He's not, he's already on the inside squeeze.
Wow.
They're still side by side. Winner has the run. You would expect Gorka to push his teammate. Is Gorka, oh, I thought Gorka was going to try and make it 3 wide there for a second, but he hasn't. And Berbigal, with the push from his teammate, is ahead, but they're still side by side. Finally, Winner backs off and settles for second, but I can see that battle heating up in the last few minutes of this race.
This is some great racing here, isn't it? This is what we're really here for. You know, just a sort of a Hail Mary pass on Winner's part with his pit strategy has put him into the lead of the race, now battling Berbigal for the lead. Just the way these cars are dicing it up on track, this is good stuff. I'm not sure, Dane, that Winner has the raw pace to hold on to what he's won himself here, but it remains to be seen.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, of course. We've seen how powerful the draft here can be. So, yeah, it's going to be not too difficult for Winner to make a move, but making a move at the right time is going to be very, very difficult indeed. 3/10 around about is the gap between them. But you can see that 3/10 gap is, well, it's about the car's length. And these are very small cars as well, so you can tell that gap is very small, maybe a couple of meters at most. As a Winner, actually, is he going to try and make a move on Berbigal into Spoon? I would expect him to wait until the better opportunity into 130R and the chicane at the end of the circuit. Trying to get a good run now, taking a bit of a tighter line through the second apex of Spoon Curve. They're coming up to a back marker here. Not too sure who that is.
That's just Mitch Weathers in the number 4 car.
There we go, and Winner just sticking behind Berbigal, sending it over the curb in the grass. On the inside was Berbigal, Winner was as well. Violent motion on the steering wheel of Winner there, but still 2/10 is the gap. Berbigal is going to have the draft, and whether he ooh, just about gets out of the way there. And that slowed Berbigal up just a tiny bit, and that's going to allow Winner to use that draft. You can see the gap, 1.5 tenths of a second, now just 1/10 of a second. He'll easily have enough pace to get past. There he goes up into the lead of the race as they cross the line. Winner. Berbigal trying to hold it all the way around the outside. Oh, no. Just about. Winner makes it, but look at that. Berbigal making it back up the inside.
Wow.
As Winner ran a little bit wide, they're still side by side into the S's. And Winner tucks in just, I didn't think there was a gap there, but apparently there was. Winner slotting in between the two Volcano cars. I thought that they had that secure for Gorka to make his way up the inside, but no, Austin Winner putting it in the tiniest of gaps there.
I thought Berbigal lost it between 1 and 2. I thought he overcooked turn 1 and was going to lose the car in that decreasing radius, but he managed to turn it into sort of an over-under, didn't he?
Yeah, that was great driving from both of them. And the gap back to that 3/10 of a second that we saw last time by. So we'd expect more of the same, expecting potentially 2 more laps in this race. It should last around about 17 laps. But if these guys hold each other up enough, we might only see 60. We'll have to wait and see. 4 minutes left in the race, and the drivers at the front closer than ever.
I wonder if something's happened to Corns Arabian. He's kind of dropped off of the rear of Sadra's car.
Well, if I look at the pit timer, I'm seeing a 2-second stop, but I think that might be my iRacing settings wreaking havoc with live timing. There are the pit lengths, and yeah, that pit stop ran about the same. I thought he might have lost a bit of time in the pit stops, but apparently not. Ooh, Gorka's moved down the inside of Austin Winner. I thought the two almost made a bit of contact there, and Winner's just got a much better run, of course, with the outside line being the better line through 130R on these cars. but what that's done is given a 6/10 advantage to Barbagal, and that is going to make overtaking extremely difficult. With just 2 laps to go in the race, Barbagal, you can see, right up against the wall, and now swings across the circuit to the left side of the circuit to try and negate any kind of draft that Winner might be getting. He is getting some. Gorka's getting a bit more as Gorka looked to make a move down the inside, but Winner, oh, Ironom made a move down the inside of Gorka, and Gorka's just covering him off there, so nothing in it between those two drivers. But yeah, Winner's dropped back. He's now a second behind. He's not got the draft anymore. It's going to be really difficult for him to catch up to Barbagal enough to make a move.
Yeah, well, especially on this part of the track, and if you consider that had Barbagal, had Winner gotten past Barbagal, he would have just gotten Barbagal would get booted right back into first place by Iterette coming down the straight there. But so Winner doesn't have that luxury. A lot of curb there by Winner. Bouncing the car around. His gap now almost a second. Barbagal's really getting away, isn't he?
Yeah, he is just a bit. Oh, I think he's overcooked it into the hairpin though, and that's brought the gap right down. Race on between Winner and Barbagal.
Well, no sooner do I compliment him on his gap than he loses it in the hairpin.
And Winner's making a move now, side by side. And he's just about backed out of that one. But yeah, he was looking like he was going to make a move down the inside of Spoon. Maybe just trying to put off Rafael Barbagal in that 55 machine. Winner, every single time they come through Spoon, Winner gets such a good line through there. Compared to the driver of the 55 machine, moves being made further back. I think Fritcher might have taken a bit of an excursion off the circuit. He's losing many positions at the moment. There's actually a massive group of cars just after 15th position, all close together. As we're seeing here, Winner pushing Barbagal through 130R. Is he going to make a move down the outside? He's pulls to the outside. Barbagal feeling the need to defend. Into the KCO triangle they go. Barbagal just holding him up, doing a tactic that I like to use fairly often. That's go slower than your opponent anticipates, so they have to slow down even more. That's what he's doing. The gap back to 3/10, but Gorka is not there to push Barbagal back to safety as he did a few laps ago. Winner could potentially have it here as we take the white flag. Oh, and there's tries to go around the outside of Iterette and I think Naselli. Naselli sent it up the inside of both of them. I think that caught them all out a little bit. Hiro Nom, unfortunately for him, gets spun all the way around. And Naselli moves himself up into third. Gorka now in fourth, just behind. And then Dan Sadjo, but Hiro Nom drops down into sixth. He's now got just over 2 seconds of a gap behind him to Foreign Arabian, but we're still focusing on this gap right here because only half a second separates the leader, Rafael Barbagal, to Austin Winner. As is Gorka going to make a move into the Degnas? No, he's not. This is the battle for third and fourth, with Naselli just in front of Gorka. It's Red Dan Sadjo is trying to latch onto these two as well. And now Barbagal, he'll surely be thinking of his error he made just a lap ago as he makes his way into the hairpin. Oftentimes that's enough to make a driver a little bit nervous heading into a braking zone. Now this is where Winner really needs to get a good run. He needs to be able to make a move down into 130R and the KCO triangle, because that's the only overtaking zone left. So he's going to have to use that good line that he found through Spoon Curve. Then you can see he closes right up in the first apex as they come through towards the second apex of Spoon. Now that gap just over 0.2 of a second. And this is where it's going to be decided then. Winner so close to the back of Barbagal, you would expect Barbagal to go right down to the right hand side of our screens, but no, he gives Winner the inside line as they head through towards 130R. Winner, he's got all the way across the circuit to try and fend off Barbagal. They make a little bit of contact. Oh, just about hangs on to it though.
Winner saves it.
How has he saved that? Barbagal has to get on the brakes to avoid him. Winner now with the inside line, and Winner, if he can just survive the exit or the final get a red spins in the background, but Winner How on earth did he save that? But he has made himself a winner here at Suzuka for round 3 of the Spec Racer 4 Weekend Warriors Series. Wow.
What a finish.
And Gorka finishes in 7th. We'll have to get a replay of what happened in the background there, but how on earth did Winner save that?
I think Haycox has gone around somehow.
Yeah, Haycox is a bit further back. And yeah, he is dropping down the order as well. Oh dear, that's probably West. And he is taking the second of the 2 chicanes at the end of the lap. You've got to slow down for that. And we're still having a little bit of battling. You can see we had such a large grid that we've still got drivers half a lap behind the leaders that are still racing just as hard. Here is Paul Barbuza with Houston Simpkins and Claudio Vacalebre in front of him with the 266 of Jeremy Lewis just behind. And he's going to try and go around the outside of Houston Simpkins now as they head in towards 130R. Simpkins really pushing him wide, almost onto the grass. Through 130R they go, and he's made that move round the outside of 130R. Great move by Paul. Is Hughes going to make a move down the inside? He does, but it's a big move in the braking zone for Paul Barbuza. He's gone a little bit deep, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Hughes to get back by him. Battling for the lower end of the top 40. They're battling just as hard as the leaders were, and Paul Barbuza just about finishes ahead of Houston Simpkins there. Now we're getting a replay of, there is Gorka. And I think there's, oh, he just lost it all on his own under braking. He'll be kicking himself after that. But what has happened to Naselli? Because Naselli was going side by side with Aeronom there, but Naselli was in second, in third even. Let's see. As Naselli on board with Sadra. There's Naselli. Oh, Naselli just gets on the grass. Was there a little bit of contact between himself and Gorka? I'm not sure, but that's what pushes him all the way out around the outside. And now he's going to go side by side with Iro Nom for 5th and 6th. Sadra ends up inheriting 3rd place there, but they're still side by side. Iro Nom now has the inside. Oh, and Naselli. Oh no! Does he escape the wall?
I think he just was a little early on the power there, maybe.
Possibly, but let's see now the replay that we all want to see. Austin Winner, he's going to move to the inside of Rafael Berbagal, and he makes the move stick before they even reach the braking zone, pulls back across, then into the left hand of 130R, and there dips the wheel just over the curb. The curb is slightly raised on the outside, a bit more raised than the AstroTurf, and what a save from Austin Winner. Takes a wide line, gets a good exit, doesn't make the same mistake by dropping a wheel over the curb this time by. And as we see an awesome slow motion shot there, Austin Winner crosses the line to win. Wow, what a race. What a final 10 minutes of the race there. Austin Winner, he was 5th with 10 minutes to go in the race. And he pulled off an absolute masterclass of a pit strategy to win that race, to put himself in a position to win that race. Then he still had a lot of work to do. But Austin Winner wins the race by 0.4 of a second over Rafael Berbagal. Dan Sadro inherits 3rd after a mistake from Gorka. Iro Nam finishes in 4th. Then Foreign Arabian, Maurizio Naselli after losing it on the final corner. Then Gorka as well, also losing it on the final corner, finishes down in 7th. He would have wanted a little bit more than that. He was looking good to potentially be fighting for the win at one point, but unfortunately he finishes down in 7th. David Bohm in 8th, then Michael DeBeck, Ryan Walker, nice top 10 position for him. Larry McLeod, Jerry McCreevy, then Jason Perry, Andre Bertoni, Jim McGill, Ian Haycox, Josh Arnold, and Greg Stefani, rounding out the top 18. Then Jörg Mani, Yuri Cox, Samuel Dick, Bobby West, Francesco Bernardo, Dominic Barreau, Stephen Beardsley, Antonio Race, Yancy Lin, and Bob Kern in 28th. Then Adam Bradshaw, Tim Van Dormelen, Nico Shook, Richard Franco, Mick Carr, Paul Jackson, Claudio Vacalebre, Paul Barbuza, Hugh Simpkins, and Jeremy Lewis in 38th. And then we've got all of these drivers still on the lead lap, by the way. They're doing a brilliant job in the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. Paolo Brem in 39th, then Mira Hraski, Stephen Elson, Gary Walbolt, Ken Bately, Jeff Bixby, Tom Gradwell, Flavio Andalo, and Johan Batenga, all 47, all the top 47, finishing on the lead lap. Then the first of the drivers a lap down. Jeff Richard, Theo Taylor, Jeff Jacobson, Brett Nordstrom, and then 2 laps down, Mark Gehan, Mitch Weatherly, and then the drivers who are finishing quite a few laps down at this point: Chris Murakami, Tony Shook, Piotr Misiorek, Julio Fakolin, William Smith, Stevie Ray in 59th. So 59 car grid here for round 3. That's the biggest we've seen all season. So yeah, wow. And have we got a demo derby today? Yes, we do. There it is, down at Spoon Curve. I think that's a good place to do it. But yeah, it's time to get a word with some of the drivers then, and I think there's only one place to start, and that is with Austin Winner. So let's get him in for a quick word then. And he joins us now. Austin Winner, well, you're a winner today, but you really had to work for it.
Yeah, that last lap was pretty intense. I feel sorry for everybody third on back. I think in the second to last lap going into the chicane, I was about to hit Rafa, so I tapped the brakes late in the chicane, and Gorka had to check up and cause a gap. So I'm sorry to everybody third on back. We kind of created a gap doing that, and that's my fault.
Well, you definitely didn't have it easy there, but talk us through your pit strategy, because for some reason you ended up coming past everyone that pitted a lap earlier than you. I think you were in 5th at that point, and you ended up just about ahead of everyone. Did you do a lot of fuel saving during the first half an hour or so of the race, or did everyone else take too much fuel?
That was a lot of luck. I think I probably took less fuel than everybody else, but we were talking beforehand, and somebody said, we need 1.3 gallons to add in our stop, and I kept calculating. I'm like, it's 0.9. I know I was saving a little bit in the first half of the race. I was like, well, one chance to win, take 0.9, and I had more than enough at the end, so I didn't have to save at all after that. It was great.
Yeah, well, your pit stop, I think, was about 2 seconds quicker than pretty much everyone else in that top 5 or 6 drivers. So yeah, you definitely had a bit of an advantage for taking less fuel there. But then you still had to work for it with a battle with Rafael Babigal there. Back and forth between you two, and he had a bit of help with Gorka. You must have thought, once you saw the first time that Gorka was just pushing him away from you, that it would have been very difficult to get by.
It's always scary when you're racing against teammates like that. You figure they're going to do something to somehow screw you over, but I think luckily I could stay in between them, so it was never really too much of an issue. I think Gorka made a move that maybe he wouldn't have tried if Rafa was in between us. But I mean, it's racing. I would expect that move from anybody, and it's just fun racing. It was a little close. I got to apologize for getting a little squirrely coming out of 130R on that last lap right in front of Rafa. I'm sure he checked up because he thought I was going around, or he'd at least hit me. And so he checked up, and then it was kind of mine to take. So thank you, Rafa, for not running into me and ruining both of our races. That's my fault.
Yeah, well, we saw you just dipped a wheel on the other side of the curb, and I think just the motion of your wheel dropping down a bit just unsettled the car, and we were so surprised that you managed to save that, because we thought for sure that you were going around at that point, and that Rafael Babigal would be gifted the win, but somehow you managed to save it.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going around myself, but luckily the Spec Racer is a little bit unique in that when you get the back end just a little sideways, you stay in the throttle to keep all the weight on the rear, so I didn't lose too much time doing that either. And I think Rafa gave me just the tiniest bit of tap in 130R, and maybe that sent me wide, but I was also going faster through there than I've ever gone, so just got lucky. I straightened it out and took the checkered flag.
Well, yeah, that's a great finish for you in the 3rd round of the season. You're currently not in the top 10 of the standings that I'm looking at here before the race, so that should give you a nice little boost up through those. So yeah, congrats on the win. You really had to work for that. Great to see, and we should see you here next week.
All right, thank you guys.
Quickly before we let you go, Austin, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Sure. Stevie Ray always runs a great league here, and he's really taken back over in stride. Didn't miss a beat after missing last season. And thank you guys for always hosting or broadcasting. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for an interview, Austin, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Well, there you heard from the race winner, Austin Winner. So, living up to his name there. And Jim, we've got time for another word. We've got time for a word with Dan Sadro, who's waiting in the interview waiting area. So let's get him in here.
There he is. Dan Sadro.
Hey guys.
Are you with there? Hey. So, a pretty eventful end to the race there. How are you feeling? Well, you must be feeling good with a podium finish, but how are you feeling?
Well, I feel like I used up a year's worth of luck on that. You know, when it got backed up on the chicane of the penultimate lap, and I thought it was toast. I thought there was no chance just because of how the concertina. I just got on the wrong end of that, and then then I started seeing cars dying, and just kept on the track, kept it clean, and just found myself on the podium at the end.
Well, you must have really had some great focus on track. You started, I think, P5, is that right? And then, to make it into a podium spot, that's, plenty of places to go wrong at Suzuka. So you must have been pretty well focused.
Yeah, and it's really hard, to focus in a race like this. In the first half of the race, where it was just a line of us, and you're trying to focus, but you're not driving 100%, because if you drive 100%, you're going to be crashing the guys in front of you. So you're braking earlier, things like that, and it's very easy to let your focus go away. But fortunately, I kept the focus up and kept it on the track, and was put myself in a good position for it.
Well, you were under pressure for a good little bit there from Arabian's car, if I'm not mistaken, and then he seemed to kind of fall away toward the end of the race. Did you see anything in your rear view? Was that a pit thing?
I wasn't 100% sure. I need to take a look at what happened to him. I pit early, trying to make something happen, and it didn't work. He pit on the same lap as I did, and he was the second behind me going into the pits, and then next I saw in my relative, he was about 4 seconds down. So he must have had a pit issue, or maybe he got the wrong end of traffic coming out of the pits. I didn't get a chance to look though.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, we've certainly seen you on track a lot, and having results that are sort of all over the map, if I'm trying to say that charitably. But I think things turned out pretty lucky for you today. No.
Oh yeah, and it started out with qualifying. I got a really good lap. Thank you to Austin Winter. He provided quite a bit of tow for me, so that put me in a position where then I was able to avoid some of the other troubles, and kept me up, in the lead pack. So I mean, I couldn't have done it if I didn't have a good qualifying lap. So again, thank you, Austin.
Yeah. Well, and thank you to you for a great show. Speaking of somebody who got to watch the whole thing, it was a really great race out there. Just absolutely spectacular. Anybody you'd like to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, well, thank you, of course, to Stevie for making this all happen. Thanks to you for broadcasting. Thank you to our sponsor, RaceVoice. Thank you to everybody that's helped me along the way to become a better driver. I didn't just become a better driver because I drove. I got a lot of help from people like David Gaspers and other people. So thank you to all of them.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dan Sadro. That is your P3 finisher, Dan Sadro. Thanks.
Yep, thanks.
Well, it was good to hear from our third place driver there of Dan Sadro. And he's got very lucky there. Yeah, he said he used about a year's worth of luck in that final couple of laps there. But yeah, it's really shuffled up the final order a little bit there at the top there. It was almost a sure thing that Foreign Arabian would finish in second. He ended up finished in seventh even. He ended up finishing in fifth, and yeah, some great racing there at the end, which we're so used to seeing in the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Series presented by RaceVoice. Join us next week, same time, here just before 8 p.m. GMT on Sunday evening, where we will be back for round 4 of the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Series. But from now, from myself, Jim Hodgson, Marco Barbanera, and everyone else here at Apex Racing TV, we'll wish you a good night and happy racing.